Here we go.
Okay.
So are you looking for ways to get your book found and out there for the least amount of money if you're tired of Amazon ads and Facebook ads? That's the question today. Have you ever participated in a paid book promotion online? Diana, welcome to Reality Coaching for Writers.
Hey, good to be here. Another week.
We are all about the real stuff and no fluff, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The book promotion, and I'm just going to kind of jump right in because it's one of those topics that I either spend an awful lot of time talking about it with other authors at Writers Conference, or I spend time explaining to them what this paid promotion concept is. And so I'm just going to kind of throw it out there and ask you, Diana, did you ever have, when you were at Partline, did you ever have any clients that could get their book into BookBub as a paid promotion in BookBub?
Yeah, I did. And that was just one. They've tried a couple other ones as well. And it varied. I think certain genres tend to be stronger in some markets. But even with free Goodreads, when it was free, we tried using Goodreads as well. And then they moved to the paid. And we still did not feel that they always got their money back. So I'm interested to see how you're going to help us guide our listeners to a more successful way.
Yeah, it is one of those things. When I was at LPC, I was kind of the one behind that. I mean, any author can do this. Okay, you can go to BookBub and you go to any of these sites. You don't have to run through your publisher. If you're traditionally published, you can do this yourself. So you don't need the publisher's approval to do this to submit the promotion. If you're a traditionally published author, you are going to need your publisher's help to have your book either listed for free or at a discounted rate. So you've got to be working in conjunction with your publisher on that side of it. But when I was running LPC, what I would do is, because so many of the authors, they didn't want to be bothered with all this because it gets kind of complicated. I would submit the promotions to the book promotion sites, and we're talking about sites like BookBub. And we're going to have a link at the end of this video today. We're going to put these links in the video on Facebook, so you can go back. You don't have to write this stuff down. We'll have the links there. But BookBub was one. eReader News was another one that we use quite often. Fussy Librarian, we've used that one a couple of times. And I would submit the promotions to BookBub, and 99.9% of the time they never got picked up because the approval rate at BookBub is really small, because they're what I call the Cadillac, Rolls-Royce, Mercedes-Benz rolled all in together of book promotion sites. They've got the best and biggest email subscriber newsletter list. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a book promotion site that has an email subscriber list of individuals who are only looking for free and 99-cent ebooks. And they don't have to be, it can be Apple, Nook, or something like that. But for example, BookBub, they've just got hundreds of thousands of individuals who are on their subscriber list based on genres. So we would submit the books. Most of the time they were rejected. Occasionally we had a few that came through, and the fee for having that book in BookBub was anywhere from $500 to maybe $800 or $900 for a one-day promotion. Now,
one-day promotion.
Yeah. Now, having said that, in almost every case, and this is in fiction, this is only for fiction, and almost in every case, if we could get the book into BookBub, if we spent $900, we would make back on the back end maybe $3,000.
Oh, wow. So you saw good results then.
We did see good results, but most of the sales were coming from the Kindle pages read. So this is where, and now we're down and kind of deep into the details of this, but that's where KDP Select, Kindle Direct Publishing Select, really pays to your advantage if you're going to do a book promotion. Because, again, these are people that are voracious readers, and if they're voracious readers, they're probably paying to get on a subscriber list at Amazon so they can get these books for free or read the pages for free, right? So the book promotion is going to sell a lot of copies, but it's going to pull through a ton of pages read for that book, and if you've got other books in the series. And that's really where the benefit comes in.
Okay, now hold up there a minute. So I remember when this concept began years ago about pages read. Explain that, unpack that just a little bit more so people really understand.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I buy many books for 99 cents, and they're sitting in my library waiting for me to one day read them. So the author does not really make money on me, correct?
Correct.
If it's just sitting in my archive.
Well, if you paid 99 cents for it, the most amount that anybody would have ever gotten for that would have been 35 cents. So if you went through a small press or traditional publisher, it's going to be 35 cents, and then the author gets a percentage of that. If you're self-published, you're getting the whole 35 cents. But that's not even what we're talking about.
No,
we're talking about
yeah.
So Amazon has this lending, what they call like a lending library, okay, where you pay a fee each month to be able to download books for free from that lending library and read those books for free.
Right.
So if you think about it, it's the same concept as Netflix, Amazon Prime for movies, HBO. If you're watching TV and you're streaming and binging and watching shows without paying for the shows, you pay a subscription each month for that access, and then you can watch as much as you want to through Netflix, for example. That's what we're doing. But these are for books. People are getting these books and reading these books because they've paid a monthly subscription fee to Amazon. Okay.
Right.
Now, that's the business model side of it. The payment side of it is, when I was running LPC, it worked out to be about 0.004 cents per page read.
Whoa.
Which meant if you had a $2.99 novel that was about 80,000 words, if somebody read it from beginning to end through the lending library, you made $1. We earned $1. Okay. And that's doesn't sound like a lot of money, and it's not. But that's what the lending library basically did to the fiction side at Amazon, is it turned the $2.99, $3.99, $4.99 novel into a binge read where there was only $1 profit in it.
Wow.
But kind of like McDonald's, they sold a lot of hamburgers, right? So it becomes very profitable really quickly, because instead of you selling, I don't know, 30 copies a month, suddenly you've got 300-400 people reading your book each month. And if they like your writing, then they're going to go back and read other things that you've written. So it does work. The concept does work. But that's really where these book promotion sites pay off, is if you're in KDP Select, which means your book is free in the lending library for these voracious readers, and you've got more books in the series, or you've written other series and people like your writing style. That's really where you're going to benefit from this.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question then. So who puts your book into the KDP lending library? Is it your publisher? If you're self-published, is it a program you can sign up for? How's that work?
Yeah, your publisher, if you're traditionally published, your publisher is going to have to do that for you. And large, big houses typically don't participate in KDP Select, because to be in KDP Select, for a book to be in there, it has to be exclusive to Amazon. That ebook can only be sold through Amazon. You can't have it in Apple. You can't have it on Barnes and Noble. You can't have it on Kobo. It's got to be exclusive to Amazon, and most large houses aren't going to deal with that, right? So most of the books in KDP Select are either with small presses or self-published authors, because those are the ones that are willing to jump through the hurdles and go to the effort. But even then, it's a moneymaker. I mean, it has been proven to be a moneymaker. So it can really benefit the small press author and the self-published author. But then on the backside, like I said, you've got to have the pages read, and so you've got to have good content. And if you don't have good content and you're spending the money, it's not going to benefit you.
Right.
And the flip side of that is with KDP Select. That's why I tell authors who are writing nonfiction, don't go with KDP Select. Don't worry about it, because typically a nonfiction book is either going to be informational, inspirational, something to that effect, right? You're gaining something. And as we know, a lot of times you read something one time, it doesn't all sink in. So you reread it again. You make notes a second time. You reread it a third time. I mean, how many times have we read Jesus Calling, right? Or Oswald Chambers, right?
Right.
You know, you read a devotional, you might read the same devotional every year for a lot of time, right? So if you put a nonfiction book in KDP Select, somebody's going to read it over and over and over again, but you only get paid that one read. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So I tell authors, don't put your nonfiction book in KDP Select, because number one, it has to be exclusive to Amazon, and you're only going to make the money the one time. Really, what you want to do with nonfiction is you want to sell the ebook version and then also sell a print version to go with it.
Yeah.
That's your benefit there.
Right.
So as far as BookBub, for example, that when we had books with LPC, I think we probably did, I don't know, 20 books probably that got picked up with BookBub. And like I said, we would spike. When we were running it, Benny and I were sending out checks. You know, we'd send a check out to an author $5,000 in 1 month. 1 month. And again, that's author's percentage of this. This is not ours. This is the author getting a pretty good chunk, but they're still splitting that with the publisher, their editor, their managing editor, all the way down the line. So it was a moneymaker. But again, it helps if you have the series. Now,
and so I saw on one particular site that they wanted only the first book in a series because they didn't want to promote second and third books, because they didn't want to take the risk the person hadn't read the first. So they required standalone novels for fiction.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And that's typically what you're trying to do anyways. You're trying to get the first book in the series because you're going to demonstrate that they like your writing, they like the story, they like the premise. They're going to pull the rest of them through. And oftentimes that first book in a series is going to have the most reviews. It's been out longer. And usually when you launch a book in a series, that's when you put all your effort into the series. I mean, you're desperate, right? We're all desperate. Got to make this a success. So you do everything. The second and third book, at that point, you're tired, right? You've gone through your list of friends for reviews, for people that help you promote. So those second and third books typically don't have as many reviews. They don't have as much momentum. It's that first book that's really the great one out there. That said, the problem with the first book in a series, especially if you're a new novelist or really coming out of the gate, is probably not your best writing, right? I like using the Beatles as an example. If you go back and listen to that early stuff when they were playing in Hamburg as the Quarrymen, and before they got Ringo on drums and it was Pete Best and all that, it was good music, but it wasn't the Beatles 4 years later,
right?
And that's what happens with the first book in a series. If you're a new novelist, that first book's probably not going to be your best effort, and yet that's the one that BookBub wants to see. That's the one they want. And all the other promotion sites, they want that.
Do you remember, Eddie, did they require you to have reviews already up, a certain number of reviews?
Yeah, they want a ton of reviews. And those reviews need to be not even 4 stars. They need to be 4.5, 4.8 stars.
Oh, wow.
Because again, this is the Cadillac Rolls Royce. BookBub can be very selective about what books they come in, because their readers are very selective, right?
They want quality. They want and they maintain that reputation by vetting out
the junk
for junk. Yeah.
So that's
a lot of money for some authors, because especially if you've self-published, you've already got an investment in cover design and all these other things. So what do you think overall? I'm just going to throw this in here, so maybe a rabbit trail, but you can make it short. But what is an author looking at between getting the book published and healthily marketing it? What's a realistic amount of money they should plan to set aside for that? The production of their book, the printing, publishing of their book, and then the marketing.
I think let's hold that conversation to another. Let's do that on another episode.
Okay.
Because that really is, that's not an easy answer.
Okay.
Answer, and it's going to get in depth. But I will say, I will address it this way as far as book promotion. If you're going to be serious about this, BookBub should be one of your goals. It should be. Okay.
That's
so
great. Yeah.
So because if you really believe in your book and you believe you wrote, good material, then you want to get it in front of as many readers as possible. You want to grow the reviews, because if you get it in BookBub, you're going to get a lot of reviews, good or bad. You're going to get reviews, and it's going to give you a huge spike in your sales ranking for a little while, and it's exposure. So this is, again, it's a branding thing. And like I said, if it's fiction, my guess is you'll get your money back, especially if you're a self-published author. You'll get your money back. It would be my guess, and you'll make money.
Did they do? So did they do just free 99¢? What was their highest amount they would price?
I think they probably. I don't know what they do now. I think they probably still go up to $2.99 and maybe even $3.99. Like if you've got a $9.99 book, you can discount it to $3.99.
Okay.
I know you can discount it down to $2.99. I will say though that for a lot of readers, if a book's just more than 99 cents, they just skip it. They don't look at it. They don't care who it is. I'm that way. I'm on BookBub. I'm on their daily email list, and I get, I'm looking for Christian living books and certain fiction books. And if it's $1.99, David Jeremiah, I skip it. And I like David Jeremiah. I do. I like his writing. But even for $2, well, sometimes I may go back and buy it. I'll think about it. Especially if it's a new release and I haven't heard it. But even that what I just described, that mental hurdle tells me that if I had been in charge of that book, I'd have said, David, you're not going to make that much more, charging $2, get it 99 cents, get it in front of thousands of more readers.
Well, and the other thing, Eddie, is it's just a limited time, correct? I mean, this is a special deal for a limited time, right?
One day.
One day. Okay.
Yeah, one day.
The most I saw when I looked through the list that Eddie's going to provide for you all, I saw that the most somebody did was 3 days, but they said their contract said two days.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can run it more than one day, but to me, it's not really worth your time, because the subscribers are looking at this every day. They're looking at the new books that are discounted today, the new free and discounted books.
Okay.
So if they didn't pick it today and they see it tomorrow, they're still not going to pick it. So really what you're doing when you extend it beyond that, and you're paying extra to have it extended beyond that, what you're doing is paying for people that didn't open their email that day.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so at that point, you're going, okay, it may be worth it, but probably it's not worth your investment for that. You're probably not going to get your money back on that, because especially if you run it on the right days of the week, which are not Monday.
Okay.
Because people are slammed on Monday coming back to work, checking. Right. So if you're crunched for time, this little bit of thing maybe not be the thing you open, and you don't want to do it on Friday, because Friday people are thinking about other things, shutting down on Friday afternoon.
Cutting out, yeah.
Right. So it's that Tuesday through Thursday window that you're aiming for, because that's when people are usually working and they check their email, and they're going to pick up something for their library that week.
Well, and even as an agent, that's how I did submissions. I didn't submit on Monday or Friday. I submitted Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because of that reason. I know when you get in the office Monday, you're just going through emails, and you're not in the mood really to.
Yeah, if you hear what we're saying, basically what we're saying is, as a general population, we're only working 3 days a week. We're all full.
Those are the only days we're actually productive.
Exactly.
Other days we're just shoveling things out of the way.
Yeah. So BookBub is the Cadillac. If you can get it, definitely, I would say definitely do it. The rest of the book promotion sites, they're a break even at best. And I know if any of the book promotion sites are watching this, they're going to come back and slam me. But I have evidence. I have documented evidence showing that spending money on books promotion sites other than BookBub, at best, we get our money, break even and get our money back, which is not a bad thing, because again, you're at least getting your book exposed and maybe some more reviews.
Maybe
so that's not
a new reader.
Yeah. So even if it's a break even, that's not a bad thing. You just don't want to lose a lot of money on these book promotions. And for a lot of authors, that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today, is because for a lot of authors, they'll wind up spending kind of almost like a nickel and dime thing. They'll spend $25 here, $50 with that book promotion site, $25 with this. They may put together 7 or 8, right? Well, next thing you know, they spent $300-400, and in the end, they're going to make back maybe $100.
This is good advice, people. I hope you're taking note, because
and it's again, it's one of those things where BookBub, it works. Everybody else, they're just kind of catching up and trying to make it work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it with other book promotion sites. What I would suggest is don't do it too fast and overwhelm yourself. If you're going to do it, the advice almost all the industry experts say is pick 1 or 2 during a promotion time, try those, judge the results, and the next time pick 1 or 2 different book promotion services during your next promotion. And so now you're talking about, you're doing this over a year period. You can only do promotions sometimes every quarter, especially if they're free with Kindle. So now in 1 year, you might have experimented with 8 different book promotion sites. And at that point, you should have a pretty good gauge of which one works for you and your book.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that makes sense, because there are certain people that subscribe to different, book deal places. Now, I just mentioned the name Book Deal, so I wanted you to be able to share about that and why what your passion is behind this, Eddie, and what the mission is, and how you hope to change things for Christian writers and authors. And
so that was one of the book. It's the website is bookdeals.app. And that's because eventually we'd like to have an app. And this is part of Christian Devotions Ministry. It's something Cindy and I talked about 2 or 3 years ago. And I looked around for a BookBub-like book promotion service that was aimed primarily towards Christian fiction, Christian living books, and clean reads.
Right.
Because all of these book promotion sites I'm talking about, for the most part, you have to sort through all their different genres, and the Christian part of the genre is really narrow. They might have Christian romance, Christian suspense, maybe 2 or 3 other genres within Christian fiction, but you don't have the whole long list, right? I mean, it's really narrow. It's a very narrow niche. And I was like, number one, we're sending people out they're having to sort through erotica, a whole lot of other stuff that they probably wouldn't normally even associate with, but they got to filter through that before they find their particular category, right? And even when it says religious fiction, you don't really know what religion it's, it can be very vague.
Yeah.
So Cindy and I talked about this, and she said, well, just go out and see if you can find it before we do this ourselves, because I did not want to have to build this. I did not want the ministry to have to get involved in this. But it turns out we couldn't find anything. We could not find a book promotion service that was primarily Christian fiction, Christian living based for Christian authors. And when we say Christian authors, it doesn't mean that you have to write Christian fiction. You can be a Christian who's an author who writes general market fiction. We just wanted to give basically those in the body an opportunity for others to find their works. And that's what Book Deals is about. It's a free book promotion site. We don't charge to have your book promoted on the day that it's free or 99 cents.
Okay. So it's a nonprofit
Yes.
promotion site.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then how does it work? So I bring you my book, which is everything you've ever wanted to know about Eddie Jones, and I bring it to you, and then some, and I bring it to you, and what's the requirement?
You just have to let us know what day it's going to be free or 99 cents. And there's a form that you fill out, and you let us know, and we load it up into the database. And then on the day that the book's free or 99 cents, it shows up on our website. And then not always, but if you specifically ask, we'll include it in an email subscriber list email blast that goes out to readers who only want to read in that genre. We can't guarantee that because sometimes we don't have enough readers really for a particular genre. So we're not going to, we may not send it out to only 20 people, right?
Or you'll just send a general letter.
Yeah.
Until there.
But it all comes down to the genre, whether or not your book is in a genre that's got a good readership for us. And basically it's a good readership for anybody. I mean, if your book is a Christian contemporary romance, it's going to go out to an email list. It's supernatural suspense, that might be on the edge. But you submit the form, it comes to us, we load it in, it shows up on the website, and then we load it into the email campaign, and then it goes out to the subscribers, and they see it, they click on it, they can either download it for free or buy it for 99 cents, and that's the promotion.
How long do they get this attention?
Normally the free days on Kindle are 5 days. So you might have a 5-day window where it's on the website on the Book Deal site for 5 days. The honest answer is right now it's until we get back and go through the site and pull the ones that are old. And I'm the one that's doing this, so it falls on me, and I have to just make sure I go on Monday and clean up and pull everything down from over the weekend. But eventually, hopefully, we'll have a big enough team that we've got somebody every day going through, checking all the links to make sure the deals are still accurate for that day.
Okay. Now, so how many books at a time get promoted? 5, 6, or?
No, they build up. We start every Monday. We go clean up every Monday and pull the ones that just about pull out almost everything from the previous week and start fresh Monday. And then as the week goes on, that list builds up. And of course, by the end of the week, some of the ones that were free on Monday and Tuesday are pulled because they're not free anymore. But by Friday, usually by Friday, that's about the day when we have the largest amount. And again, it falls back into that Tuesday through Thursday promotion window.
Right. Yeah.
So that's when we're going to get the largest amount.
Well, now, so you've had your books in this?
Yeah, I've had my books in there, and I've had, but primarily it's not my book. I mean, I haven't had that many of my books. It's mostly books from LPC because I'm still on their database.
Right.
So I still get their emails. And I've got other authors that, when they send me the promotion, we load them and put them out there. But really, we're still in the infancy.
Right. Well, I was just going to ask you if you had your books in. I know you're able to see what impact, if you're getting nibbles and what you hope, share the broad vision they have that you really want this to become the site like Book Hub.
Yeah. So my books really aren't a good gauge because I write middle grade fiction, which is niche, young adult power
and then boys.
I don't write romance. I couldn't really gauge it, and that's kind of the ones you gauge whether it works well or not. Or Christian living. Christian living is another big genre that does well.
Yeah.
Well, the vision was, and this is something that Cindy and I used to talk about is. I believe Christian authors are going to continue to get pigeonholed, and I don't want to use the word cancel. I'm not going to use that, but we are going to be funneled into certain areas, and we're going to be excluded from other areas. I believe just because of the nature of what we write and what we believe.
Right.
And if that were to happen tonight, overnight, if Amazon were to ban all Christian material, where would Christians go to make their books found? Right. And that was really what kind of spurred this. We had a vision of 10 years down the road to be able to have a way for Christian readers and Christian authors to still connect on free and discounted books so they could continue to be encouraged and nourished and spiritually grow and all that. And what I've said from the beginning is, once we have 1 million subscribers with book deals, at that point, we can take any Christian book and make it a bestseller for a day on Amazon. If you're still on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, people can find your book and at least get it out there. And that's the goal, is to be able to play on the same playing field that all the general market authors are playing on. That's the goal.
I love that vision. I mean, that's such a good, great, worthy goal. So yeah, I think that's great. So you're going to put the link also for that down in.
Yep.
We'll have that in the description box. And so parting little tip here. We're running out of time.
Yeah. So my pitch has been from day one. The only thing we need to grow the body of Christ as far as reading and words go is we need readers. We just need people to sign up to book deals, sign up to receive these free notifications. Once we have the subscribers, the authors will follow. It's not hard to get the authors. It's harder to get the readers. So if you know of a reader out there who likes Christian living, Christian fiction, clean reads, send them to bookdeals.app, have them to join, pick their genre, sign up, grow that email list. That's what we need. That's what we need. Costs nothing.
All right. Well, thank you, Eddie. This is a great, informative for so many authors. It's so good to know, because they all wonder, what could I do to promote my book? So thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.